Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another review. Another week goes by, another Mandalorian episode comes in, and this time it's the Rescue Chapter 16 Season 2 finale. And oh boy, what an episode this was. It was, in a couple of words, what I want to say, it basically a love letter to Star Wars fans. I think, in a way, it pulls everybody together, and like with all the things that have been happening in the Star Wars kind of universe with the movies and all. I think this episode really brings everyone together. So let's get into it. Again, remember, spoilers. So basically, the episode starts, we see them planning it out to go and get into the ship of Moff, get Grogu back. Mandalorian with Boba Fett goes back to like Bo-Katan, and we're like, okay, we need your help, we want to get into the ship, he has the child. And Bo-Katan, okay, well, all right, but I need the dark saber, and nobody else can fight him, only me. Just bring him to me. And at that moment, you're like, you don't really think about what she's saying. You just go with it, right? But it's actually something really big, and I think it's gonna create something very unique in the other seasons that's coming out later. Season 3 especially, you're gonna see a lot between Bo-Katan and Mando, the way they set things up. So anyway, so a bit of like Boba Fett, and oh, I don't know her name, but Bo-Katan's part of her team, the other girl, they had like the word battle of words, and then they start a fight, and Bo-Katan's like, hey, everybody needs to calm down. Like, we need to stay focused on the mission, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, it's a small thing. Nothing really comes out of it right now, hopefully. Or they maybe create a tension for later. Who knows? And then, yeah, the team gets together, and they devise a plan to get into the ship. Boba Fett actually does not go into the ship. His thing is just basically he's going to pretend that he's after this Imperial ship, and the Imperial ship is going to ask for the help from off the ship, and in trying to like confuse them, they're gonna get into the ship, and Boba Fett is just gonna be on his way. So it exactly that happens, and they're getting into the ship, and Moff's like, something's wrong. And from the moment the woman, this is how you do females right in movies, like strong females. This is how you do it. So Mando here is like, okay, you need to do specifically, so you're gonna do your own thing. You need to go find Grogu. We're gonna get to the hub, the ship's hub. So yeah, Bo-Katan and every Cara Dune, everybody else is basically on their way to the ship, and you see a lot of shooting. Man, there is some good Star Wars shooting in here, and this team, really good, really amazing, like chemistry between everyone, especially for Cara Dune. There's a small moment there with her where her gun gets basically stuck, and she kind of has to bang it. She's trying to like get it to work and tries to bang it, and it's like this very comedic moment, and then she goes all ham with the machine gun. She's like heavy machine gunner, but it was amazing, and it reminded me of that kind of a sequence from Aliens, and it definitely felt like Jean Favreau like wrote that sequence. It's like more like a love letter to that sequence. It just, for me, it was like, oh, that's from Aliens too, where that, like the really heavy machine gunner, and she was also female, and she really loved those machine guns, and you're like, yeah. And that whole sequence when she's like beating the shit out of the aliens with the machine gun, there's that moment, and she just goes ham, Cara Dune, with the machine gun, and she's like, the stormtroopers are just dying everywhere. I loved that sequence. Again, the whole team dynamic there, I think that's how you do it right. When you want to do strong female characters without really making the other characters any less or anything, like everybody's on equal pages, you just do them right. It just felt right. I loved that sequence. And then you also see Mando basically on his own, doing his own thing. So the ladies basically get to this hub, they take control over the hub, and they realize that there's a timer for the dark troopers where they are basically standing or wherever they're stored. The door's about to open and they're activated, and Mando's like, oh shit. He tries to get to the door, he makes it. All these dark troopers are like, how are you gonna fight all of these, Mando? And you're like, oh, the door's closed. But the moment the door's almost there, one dark trooper just gets through. Oh boy, oh boy. It's this sequence of like a machine just beating the shit out of Mando. But obviously he doesn't get hurt because Mando's armor is kind of really bulletproof. He punches him hard, man. And you see like Mando's like head going into the ship because he like grabs Mando and puts him against the wall in the ship and just beats the shit out of him. And you're like, oh boy. But you really feel for Mando there. But good thing, his armor, his helmet, all of it. And you see this sequence. He's trying all these different things. He's trying everything he can. Fire his small missiles that he has in his right arm, I believe. Everything, and it's not happening. And then he just takes out his spear. He just, I guess he didn't think about taking it out before because it's not something that he's used forever. He's only recently got it, so. He obviously, that spear is something else. It goes into the machine like no problem, and that's it. He took out one, but you in your hand you're like, wait, what if all came out? Or what was he gonna do? So, anyways, he reaches Moff's place where Grogu's place, where the room where Grogu's held, and you see Moff with his dark saber. He's like, hey, don't move forward or I'm gonna do it. I got what I needed. I needed this baby's blood, so I got what I needed. So don't you dare. So he's like, okay, let's make a deal. Bo-Katan wants that saber. Obviously, the promise was that if Bo-Katan was gonna join them on this trip, it's dark saber is hers. Moff Gideon, nobody touches him. She is the one who's gonna go against him. You just bring it to her. So Mando's like, look, man, I just need the kid. I don't keep the dark saber. I don't even want the dark saber. I don't want anything. I just want the kid, and do whatever you want with Bo-Katan. She's yours. Do whatever you want. And you're like, wow, this guy really cares for this kid. So Moff's like, okay, you're not going to come after me. You're going to leave the ship. He's like, yep, I just need the kid. And Mando keeps his word. He goes to grab the kid, and Moff tries to swing behind him, but obviously he had the spear. It doesn't cut through that. And then we see a really cool sequence between Moff and Mando with his spear, Moff with his dark saber, and going at each other. And you're like, okay, wow. They did that. We don't have the lightsaber, but at least we get a sequence that's close to it. So you get that. And it's rough. It's not very, how do I say, there's not enough acrobatics and everything. It's very rough, and you understand that. They're not Jedis. They're not very precise or so. So I liked it. I liked it in a way that it kept away from all that very straightforward, precise kind of movement and very choreographed, but it felt raw. So I liked it because there's something happening very soon, and it gives you the full taste of all that choreography. Anyway, so yeah, Mando, gets the better of Mob. He grabs him. He's like, let's go. He takes him to Bo-Katan. He's like, hey, here you go, and here's the dark saber. And then a whole lot of thing happens. First, we learn that if you defeat the person who holds a dark saber, it's theirs now. The person who defeated the person with the dark saber. So now the winner is actually the true owner of the dark saber. So Mando's like, look, I don't want this. I yield. Take it. Many times he's like, take it, Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan is like scared of even touching it. And Moff's like, yo, you, Bo-Katan, you need to fight him. You need to fight him. He's not gonna uh you can, you can. And Mando's like, I don't want this. Like, and you really see like how honest Mando's character is that he really does not want it. He just wants the baby, and that's it. He's like, take it. And Bo-Katan's like, she's quiet. She's not even saying anything. And in that whole hoopla, there's also this moment where Moff like has a gun and he tries to like kill the kid, and it doesn't work. And so, but all that meanwhile, they see an X-wing land on the ship, and they're like, huh, an X-wing, who's that? And then you see someone with a dark robe coming out of it. And all this happening at the same time, the dark troopers that basically, so I don't know if I mentioned it, when with the one trooper that actually made through the door, the others, Mando basically was able to, like, shove them into space, and you're like, oh, thank God. Then you're like, oh, Moff's like laughing, and he's like, what are you gonna do with the rest of the 15? And you see them flying back. You're like, oh, they can fly. There was no point into like shoving them all into space. And so they fly back and they get into the ship, and the ship hub, they close the doors, and they all like get ready with their guns. And Moff's like, Harry, you couldn't, Mando, it was so hard to like control or fight one of these guys. How are you gonna do like with 15 of the rest? And I think there were 16, so there's 15 of those, and you're like, what? So yeah, when you see this person land, you're like, okay. So then at that moment with the robe and all, like, okay, yeah, I think that's a Jedi. And yeah, I think Cara Dune's character is like, whoa, that's a Jedi. And you see like a lightsaber come out, and it's green, and you're like, who? And then this Jedi goes to town on the dark sabers. Man, sorry, not dark sabers, dark troopers. He goes to town. He does not take it easy. And at that point, actually, you can't really tell he or she, but I was thinking, well, maybe it's Ashoka. Maybe, she realized that Grogu is in danger, and maybe she's the one who's there. And I'm like, okay, but that costume, it doesn't feel like Ashoka. And at times you could see the chin. You're like, that doesn't feel like Ashoka. That's not, the camouflage or the colors. It's not matching. It's like human skin. And yeah, he goes through town, and there's the final dark trooper. This Jedi does not even use his lightsaber. He just crushes him with force, and you're like, whoa, that's a powerful Jedi. Then the door opens to the hub, and everybody's ready, and the reveal, and it's Luke Skywalker. Not the Luke Skywalker from the sequel trilogies, Luke Skywalker from the original. And then, for me at least, I had the realization is that, whoa, so this series, all this time, I thought that was connected more towards the sequel. Like, it took time, like it took place right before the sequel trilogies happened. But now, from looking at it, the way they de-aged Mark Hamill with, like, the Luke's faces from the original trilogy, it takes place right after the original trilogy. And it's Luke Skywalker, and then you also see R2-D2. You're like, whoa, all of this, the future changed. In that one sequence, the moment he reveals his face, you're like, whoa, like the sequels, there's a spin to it now. There's a new spin to it. It's like everything changes based on like what we've seen so far from the sequel trilogy, and now what we know based on what's happening in this season and what just happened with like Luke coming into picture and like, adding this huge thing to the Star Wars universe. Like, whoa. And it basically comes down to that Dave Filoni and, Jon Favreau, they really made this show as a love letter to people who love movies, people who love Star Wars, people just love TV shows. It's just a love letter. It really is. I think it's a show that brings kind of like the whole, no matter what trilogy you like, the whole fan base together. And it's basically saying, here you go, fan base. We love you. We love Star Wars. And it's really these two people just who love Star Wars, just playing around with ideas and changing the game. And that's why this show is so awesome. And this finale is one of the best finales. It does end on a cliffhanger, but one of the best finales of a season out there. So Luke comes in, and you're like, it's important to that the kid comes with me, and Mando's like, yeah, you can go. And he's like, well, the kid actually is asking for your permission. And then this whole wowza of a sequence, amazing sequence, a very emotional sequence where Mando picks Grogu up, and Grogu touches his helmet, and then Mando realizes something, and he actually takes that helmet off. He does not worry about the code, does not seem worried. You see tears in his eyes, and Grogu touches his face. And it's this whole sequence is like the character of Mando from where he was as guy who sticks by the code, cannot take off his helmet, as a job. Like all these missions that he were on were jobs to him. He never made relationships or so with them, and this child was basically a job. It was like, hey, I need to take this kid from this to this, and that's that. And he got attached to this kid, and this kid means so much that to him that it's more than the code for this guy now. And it's so easy for him to take this helmet off for this kid, because it just his humanity is what he wants to show, and he has that humanity. And it's not just about the armor. I think as a character for him, it also is a realization, and especially with the dark saber, now it adds this element of like the future, what's gonna happen with Bo-Katan, with the Mandalorian, with Mando. What's gonna happen, because now he is the leader of Mandalore. If he sits at the throne, he's the guy. He has the dark saber. He's the one who can control. So what kind of tension or what's going to happen there? It adds so much to the extended universe, especially now that we know Ashoka is also getting its own, her show, and there's so many other shows, Bad Batch, and the Star Wars universe is just expanding like crazy all of a sudden. So Luke picks Grogu up, he's on his way, and you're like, okay, what's going to happen next? The door closes of the elevator, and boom, episode end. You're like, no, I want to watch more. What is going on? Do not do this to me. And it's amazing that you're like, wow, what a sequence. I want to watch more. The way it ends, it's literally a cliffhanger. You're like, what? Like, that's how you're gonna end it? It's amazing. My only nitpick is that at time, because of the de-aging, the special effects on Luke's face, at times it does not actually even look like Luke. There are very couple of moments in there that it does not look like that's Luke. And even when he's looking like Luke, it's not perfection. The de-aging is not done with perfection, like in the way they did with Samuel Jackson. I think was better. Even Princess Leia, even though it felt more CGI, but it was Princess Leia. There are times here where like the face and the double, the double that they used to put the face on and the de-aging, it just felt a bit off. So I don't know. I just felt that was the only thing. It does not take away from the meaning and the whole aspect of the episode, but it does came across as just a bit nitpicky. So yeah, again, the credits roll, and then you see this post-credit scene, and you're like, yeah, Jon Favreau, you're the man to do post-credits, because you're the guy who started all of this with Iron Man 1. And yeah, basically, forgive me, I don't know the name, but Boba Fett reaches Jabba the Hutt's place, and there's this other guy, I think Bibby, something like that. He's basically on the throne, and he's trying to sweet talk Boba. He's like, oh, I heard rumors you're still alive, and Boba Fett doesn't care. He takes out his gun, shoots him, throws him on the side, and sits on the throne of Jabba the Hutt, and he's like, yeah, I'm the new boss. And then you see the title, The Book of Boba Fett, coming December 2021. You're like, whoa, whoa, so many things have happened. So yeah, overall, I'm gonna give this episode a 10 out of 10. This is Star Wars done to perfection. This is Star Wars that is made for people who love Star Wars. This is Star Wars made for people who might not even love Star Wars, just love TV shows or just want to watch something good. It's made for them. It literally is that episode that I think brings everyone together. Even the people who are like, oh, the sequel trilogy did this and this. This season really added elements, the healing and, added elements to it. You're like, oh, so in sequel, you start thinking, Luke, he knew about Grogu, so Grogu is probably hidden somewhere. So there's those whole other story that they can build upon, beyond the sequels or at the same time of the sequels. If they, and we know that the other like new movies are coming out, so I'm excited. I'm excited for whatever is next in the Star Wars universe because this show really set a high bar and this is how you do Star Wars. So yeah, what did you all think about it? Leave a comment below. Let me know. But at the same time, I want to say thank you for all the support. Thanks for the subs, for the all the love for the channel, likes, dislikes, comments, everything. So yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts were on this episode. And yeah, I'll let you go for now. So yeah, thank you for watching. Take care, and I will catch you all later. So until then, ta-ta, AK out.